I was just in awe, like, of that, you know, and but then I realized they're not the marathon people. They're the crazy people. They do further. Like, they do their own things, and so they're not even. I was afraid of them. Like, I thought, oh God, I can't run beside these people. But
you wouldn't be running beside them.
You're not beside them, yeah, no. And so when I did join, they weren't there. Like, those scary people, like, they do their own crazy runs, and so it's actually normal people in the marathon clinic. So, which was a relief because I didn't know that. So, and it helped too because you meet friends. Like, you know, a lot of my friends are from the running room now too, and we moved up in the clinics together. And some of my friends, you know, I met in the Learn to Run, literally, and like now in the half clinic, and you know, a few in the marathon clinic as well.
Did you meet Hanoki in the
yeah, I met Hanoki in my second to last 5K clinic, and that was 08. 08 or 09, I think it was 08, and then she dropped out. She's another huge success story. Like, so we were in the Learn to Run. No, it was 5K. Sorry, it was 5K, and she vanished. And then, but I kept the running, and she just resurfaced this summer. And I was like, hey, you know, and I was in the marathon clinic, and I think she started back in the Learn to Run. And she just kind of picked it up, and anyway, she just ran around the bay with us, and she beat me, like, at 30K, and she was in Learn to Run in August.
Oh
my God. She dropped 40 pounds. Yeah, this August, she had stopped running for a year or two. I kept going, and she stopped and started back in August, and then, and is just gone.
She started my half marathon / run bay clinic in November, and she started with us.
Yeah, so we pulled her in. Yeah, so the whole point of this is that you can do, like, you know, I was saying I'm not an expert on nutrition. The nutrition doc always scared me too. I don't know. Tara. Oh my God. Has she done it yet?
No, she's very good.
She's very good. She's very good. She's very good. But she's an expert. She writes for the magazine too, and like, she knows that she's an expert. Like, but I was always like, oh my God. So, you know, I'm not an expert. I'm just a poster child. Like, I started in the literature. Yeah, so, you know, it's just weird, and then this is...
Drink something else?
Yeah, I did, so, like, that was my first half marathon, that was the good life. And then this is my, Midsummer is my first, no, it was my second third, that was my first, no, I don't have, yeah, that's my second third.
Good Life.
That's Good Life, that's my first half.
This is your half marathon.
Yeah.
This is your Midsummer Night's
That's the Midsummers, yeah, so that's the difference.
How much weight did you lose?
Almost 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
A year.
At Jenny Craig?
Jenny in the running, yeah.
I went to Jenny Craig, I loved it.
Yeah, it is a great program. I got so fixated, I'm like, I need this just to happen now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I did Weight Watchers too at one point, and I'm like, you know, I'm not a cooker, I don't cook.
Yeah, Jenny's good too.
And I just thought, you know
get
what?
spoiled.
Yeah.
Throw that in my car.
I know. But, and yeah, I just organized it. It was a great excuse to get organized because it was a huge mess at my desk. But so since I started running, which was what, anyway, these are all the races and stuff that I did.
Wow.
Mine are in a box somewhere.
Yeah, this got me organized because I was like, you know what, mine were on the desk. If they were in a box, I probably would have been organized, but I was tired of looking at it. But yeah, I totaled up my races. I did, I've done 3 5Ks, 3 10Ks, a 15K, 120K in Montreal, 4 half marathons, 3 30Ks, and a marathon in like 2 years.
Oh my God.
2 3 years.
You've spent a lot of money.
Yeah. So
Money box.
you can do it. Like anyone, like, you know, that, like I said, that was me. Like, so. But yeah, and it's really neat. Like, I would recommend keep your bibs because it was really neat to look back. And I wrote the time. This was my mock one. Yeah. So this was my first race. It was 38. Yeah, 38. No, 35. Was it 35?
Wow.
35. Yeah. And then the spring. My first. I still want to race a 10K. Oh, I did race a sub-hour. Yeah, I did. Sorry, I thought my first 10K was 103, but I ran the zoo run and I did 50. That was a great. I did like 53 or 54 or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Would that be foothills?
It's just so beautiful.
It's a little bit hilly. Yeah, it's kind of like rolling. It's not like hills like that, but it's the zoo, right? So it's sort of like those rolling.
You have cross country.
Yeah. But it's a great run. You know, it's a great run to do. This was one we did the Achilles 5K, but we ran 23K to get to the start of the 5K race. I was training for Around the Bay, so
Wow.
we ran from here and like through the city to get to the start and then did the 5K. Yeah.
You still
then,
probably
yeah.
had a good time?
Yeah, and then I won't say that though.
No, please don't say that. No.
So yeah, anyway, so it's fun to keep your medals, and this is my Chicago. So,
Aw.
yeah, that's the
Wow.
marathon.
Did you get the plaque?
I did, which is ridiculously expensive, but I'm like, if my ass is running a marathon, I'm getting the plaque.
Proof of it,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's in the reason I chose Chicago too is my mom's from Chicago, so I had tons of family. Like I had my aunt, uncle, cousins,
You're all there
all
rooting
there,
for
and
you.
my family, my immediate family from here, all came down too. Like,
Oh.
so it was really, it was awesome. They cracked open a bottle of champagne for me at the end.
Aw, that's
Yeah, so I bought the plaque. I don't have it. They're picking it up in Chicago, so they're actually going down next week. So I would have had it in 2 weeks, but yeah. So
My
they put
husband
your
got
bit.
mine.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So we were having a Christmas party just in December, and I go into the office area and I'm showing people the room, and then I look at the wall and I'm like, why am I on the wall? I couldn't figure it out. And there is a plaque of me, and there's my bib, and there's my medal, and there's a picture of me, and there's a picture of us, and there's like this and that. And I'm like, my first thought was, that was 2 years ago. What took you so long? I couldn't be nice about it. God, no.
No.
What took you so long? But yeah, I think
That's
did the
so
same thing.
nice. Yeah, your first, it's pretty awesome. Like, yeah, it gives you good bragging rights. But
Chicago's a great city to run, and I've done it. Like, obviously, I've done it too. And it's when you go to a city that embraces a race, it's a whole different feeling. Like, I don't know if you guys ever have really like experienced running outside of the beaches area. They're not so nice sometimes. They get a little nasty about traffic closing down and whatever. And so there's nothing like that in a race city that embraces it. So.
yeah, it was 10 people deep the entire way. Like, it was just cheers and you feel like a rock star. It was really amazing. Yeah, really amazing. But you know, just kind of final advice, or you know, just don't be afraid. I would say if you can, it takes a lot of time, commitment. It really does. But if you can, don't be afraid to. Like, the program works. Like, don't be afraid to go from learn to run to 5K to 10K. You know, there's people of all different abilities in all the groups. And so that I wish I had the courage to move. Like, I went pretty fast. Like, you know, the past. Yeah. Like, but that was after I committed. There was about 2 years before that where I was like, well, you know, no parking. I'm not running. And like, so it took me a little long to get to the. But once I clicked in and committed, then it did go fast. And I'm thinking, oh, if that had just clicked in a little earlier, you know. You know, so don't be afraid. And the other thing is, it's just pieces of advice that, like, I've sat there, you know, this is the first time I've been on this end of it, but I don't even know how many clinics I've sat through, but some of the pieces of advice that stick with me is, you know, don't be afraid of bad runs, they happen. And I've had a few, I've had a few the past, like, few weeks. I ran a personal best at Chile, the Burlington. I did a half marathon in under 2 hours. I did it at 1:58, I think. But then every run after that was bad, and like I was just like, oh my god, what's going on? Like, I just was having a hard time, and so, you know, but I've had some good runs too. Like, Thursday's run was really good, which was good. But so bad runs happen, and you just have to. The next one's good, so you know, you do that. And the other two pieces is you already said that. Just show up. Like, show up. Showing up is the hardest thing, because once you're there, you're gonna do it. And then even start it. And the best piece of advice was just show up and run 10 minutes out. And if at that point, check in with your body, check in with how you're feeling, and if you still, I'm not doing it, you run back, you've just done a 20-minute run, which is more than what you would have done anyway, and a 20-minute run is great. And, you know, after that 10 minutes, if you can still keep going, then keep going. But at a minimum, you've just done 10 minutes, you know, 20 minutes. That was always in my head, like giving yourself permission, like, you know, you can't take advantage of it all the time, but giving myself permission that if my body really doesn't want to do it, then respect that and stop. But I found, like, I've never, I think maybe once or twice, you know, I've had to actually stop a run, so. Yeah, so just show up is the hardest thing, and just 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back, and keep going, and don't be afraid to move through the clinics. I think, I don't know, was there, yeah, my mantras, one of my mantras, one foot in front of the other. Like, when it gets tough, like, just one foot in front of the other, and I just repeat that, like, and that's what it is, it's just one foot in front of the other. And the other one was, this was a sign I saw in a race, and I think it was the Chicago Marathon, and I've really, or around the Bay, but it might have been the Chicago, and it said, there will come a day when you can no longer run, and today is not that day.
Wow, that's a
And
good one.
that was and that just struck me, and I thought, wow, like, I run because I can. Like, you know, there's so many people for whatever reasons, health, physical ability, you know, that can't, like literally can't. And there's nothing wrong with these 2 legs, you know, and so I'm blessed. And so just, you know, I run because, you know, I'd like to say I'd be 80 one day and not run, but the Centurion then ran the half,
Yeah, that's right.
and so, who knows, right? But, so just basically run as, you know, long as I can, and respecting, because you don't want to run too hard too, because that's when you get injured, like, so you really have to respect what your body's sort of saying, and if you go out too hard too fast, you know, you're gonna do that. But having said that, you can't be comfortable, you have to get pushed a little outside your comfort zone too, and that's how you improve as well, is like trying to pick it up a little bit, but listen to yourself and trust that. Yeah.
And you weren't like a time junkie when you first started.
No,
You were just all about going out there and running, so you didn't focus on the time.
not at all. A few of us joke we're Zen runners, like, you know, some people are like, and like, you know, the Garmin is a neat tool too, and some people obsess about it, but I was just like, I'm gonna finish. Like, my goal is to finish. Like, I am eons ahead of where I was, like, so my goal is just to finish, and if I finish, then that's a good run. End of story. It starts to creep in. Like, once, you know, because once you start doing these new distances, for me it was just covering the distance, and now it's like, oh, can I? You know, this was my time. Like, can I do it? Can't I do it? So it's creeping in a little bit, but I refuse to obsess about it because I don't want to stop loving running, and I don't want to turn it into that. Like, so, you know, so yeah, you need to have a little bit of self-competition to do it, but it'll never be about that for me. It'll just be about the run and doing it. Yeah, it's great. What other sport, you know, really hit me too when I did, so I ran the Chicago Marathon and then I ran the Toronto Half the week after.
Wow.
I wanted the medal, and that's the only reason I did it, because it was a Beaches medal, and it was, yeah, like it was, here, and the waterfront. And I ran as Gordon. I didn't even, my bib says Gordon because I wasn't even my own bib. But it's Kew Garden. It's the gazebo, and yeah, and so they take a seat from